What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Going to be showing off Michael Catron's third place Zapdos fighting deck from the Santa Clara Regional Championships, featuring a Machamp and Marshadow Tag Team GX. Pretty unique inclusion in the deck. Excited to show this super cool list off. It does not play any Shrine of Punishment, doesn't play any Rainbow Energy either. Cards that we're used to seeing in Zap Beast deck. This is not necessarily a Zap Beast deck, more of a Zapdos fighting variant, relying on Viridian Forest to search out fighting energy for your Machamp and Marshadow Tag Team GX, as well as the baby Buzzwoles that are featured in this list. And then also, of course, features standard Zapdos fare, like your Zapdoses, your Tapu Koko Prism Star, and your Tapu Koko-GX to apply pressure to the opponent. So we are going to be going first here against Vinicius RF. We'll see how we do. We start, well, these are pretty suboptimal starters, but I think I like holding on to my Marshadow, though revealing the Machamp and Marshadow early is definitely a bummer. We'll start with that and just see how we do. I can Ultra Ball for a Jirachi and switch into it, but it's no guarantees that we're going to find ourselves a Lillie. So I want to keep the Marshadow just in case we want to shuffle draw 4, giving us an option to find a turn 1 supporter. The Machamp and Marshadow Tag Team GX is a pretty cool attacker here, useful for that revenge attack, which does 30 plus 90 if any of my Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack the previous turn. Also, just having access to a Pokemon that has 270 hit points in a deck that traditionally has very low HP Pokemon can be super valuable as well. Finding the Nest Ball here, very good. Going to allow me to just go get a Jirachi right off rip, so I do like that. We've got 4 Lillie in the deck, so plenty of options. He also plays Stealthy Hood, which allows us to hit through Vileplume's Disgusting Pollen ability, which is very useful for this deck, which traditionally struggles with that kind of thing. Looks like we're playing against a Charizard deck. I'll switch into the Jirachi, and I'm thinking that I'm just going to see what we hit off the Stellar Wish, though I do kind of want to see if I can thin the deck a little bit more first. I'm thinking we get a second Jirachi, and that way I'll be able to pivot between these guys. So if I just find a switch or an escape board off the Stellar Wish, it's going to be okay. We have a Cynthia. I think that that's probably going to be my plan of action here, though I do like having the escape board just to get us started very aggressively. And I do have Let Loose as well, so I think I'm just going to grab the escape board and then Rescue Stretcher the Let Loose back. We're going to get that Marshadow back to my hand, and we can just retreat into my other Jirachi, play the Viridian, and Let Loose to shuffle us both the 4 cards. And then I'm going to get to use one more Jirachi, and sure enough, we got double switch and a Viridian, so that's a pretty good draw there. Definitely don't mind that. I want to keep the switches in my hand, though, and I think I'm just going to Viridian away my other Viridian. Give me an opportunity to go find a fighting energy. We can start to power up this Machamp and Marshadow Tag Team GX. I think just getting a fighting on it feels good. And we'll Lillie for 6 first, finding plenty of Nest Balls and Guzmas. We can just get Zapdos out of the deck, and then I don't really need to use my last bench space. But what's cool is I can actually blow up the Tapu Koko Prism Star if I want to. I just don't think I necessarily want to do that yet. I'm going to save that last bench spot. Finding Cynthia, very good. And we can see how explosive this very traditional Zapdos build is when you get a nice start like this. We have options to target down whatever we want on my opponent's side of the field. I can even get a turn 2 100 blows impact or Acme of Heroism GX, right? Which is pretty crazy and not something that you would expect this deck to be able to do. But with so many Viridian Forest, finding the fighting energy is no problem at all. And then, of course, Tapu Koko Prism Star gives us some great options to go and take advantage of that. With my opponent just using Kiawe here, I'm in a pretty good spot. I do need one more damage buff in order to be able to get Tapu Koko-GX to KO this thing, but we have the escape rope, so that's pretty wild. I'm thinking here that we're just going to, I want to see if my Tapu Koko Prism Star is in the deck. It's not, so we actually don't have that option right now, which is definitely a bummer. We really want to swing into that thing, but it's all good. We will not be getting the knockout with Tapu Koko-GX, unfortunately. That's okay. We'll just get ourselves a second Zapdos and go from there. Thinking that just going to escape rope that thing up into the active. No point in using Viridian since we already know that my Tapu Koko is in the prizes. We'll Stellar Wish here again. Find, ooh, we got triple Electropower. That just seems like a lot. I don't really need to do that. So I'm thinking that I'm just going to hold on to this hand so I can take a pointed knockout on this Reshiram and Charizard next turn. I mean, with 3 Electropowers, I should be able to hit those numbers absolutely no problem. We're just going to go in with the Thunderous Assault for 80. And next turn, I'm looking at a Thunderous Assault for like 170. With 80 plus 90, we can hit 170 right now, which is still short of a knockout. I'll need 1 more damage buff, but we will be able to hit that. I'm assuming with 2 Jirachis and also Guzma, I could even bring this thing back up. Now, what we need to hope my opponent doesn't do, somehow get this Miltank into the active position and heal off the Reshiram Charizard deck. Something that I thought was really interesting about the results from the Santa Clara Regional Championships that Michael and the other top 4 Zapdos player, I think also Mike, lost to Charizard. They both lost to Charizard in top 4, creating a Charizard mirror finals. So this should be a good matchup for Zapdos, the way that Zapdos traditionally gets built. But it looks like both players fell to the to the Reshiram and Charizard decks. I think that obviously Kianamini's 4 copies of Volcanion definitely did him some favors in the Zapdos matchup. So with Kukui, we can hit 190. That's actually perfect to take this knockout. So all we need is to go fetch ourselves a Lightning Energy, which I can grab by discarding one of these switches. That's probably fine. And we're just taking this knockout. Crazy. 3 prizes here. Stellar Wish. Gonna find the Choice Band. I don't even need to Kukui. We just have everything we need right here. So I'm gonna save myself the switch. We have it all super easily. We've got the Choice Band, that, and right now we're hitting 110, 140, 170, right? So I'm at 170 now, plus the Kukui. I can save myself the E-Power and just take this knockout. So we will Kukui just because it's useful here, and I can save the 1 E-Power for later in the game. And we're going to go in and take this knockout. 190 damage with Zapdos. Perfect math to take that knockout on the Reshiram and Charizard. Hopefully I'll find that Tapu Koko Prism Star hiding in the prizes. We do not, so a little bit of a bummer there. But I should be poised to just take this game now. Being up 3 prizes so early, be very difficult for my opponent to respond with a new Charizard. They may have to find a situation where they're attacking with Miltank. You never really want to be attacking with Miltank, but I've definitely seen it happen from time to time. These Viridians proving to be very useful for the Zapdos deck. Definitely helps with consistency, especially when you're playing an energy split, which does make me a little bit nervous. But the deck definitely operating very well right now. I'm super impressed with the deck and this list. It looks like I'm getting Double Blaze GX'd, which is fine. I can just hit into this Reshiram and Charizard again. Shouldn't be any problem. I don't want to... I guess with 270, I know that I'm safe, right? I know I'm not getting this Machamp and Marshadow GX is like not getting knocked out, which is super interesting. And we can see how beneficial it is just to have a Pokemon with 270 hit points in the deck. We know that since he just used his GX attack, he is capped at 260 damage. It's the most he can do with a Flare Strike and a Choice Band, unless he's got some other damage buff in that deck that I don't know about, which I highly doubt. So let's see what we've got going on here, I mean, I can hit Revenge for 120. Alternatively, I can just hit with Zapdos. I know I don't have access to my Tapu Koko Prism Star. That's a huge bummer. Let's take a look at the deck real quick. My opponent's at 4 prizes. We could just hit him with Buzzwole. It's probably fine. We'll do that. We can also Viridian, go get ourselves the fighting energy that we need, and just hit him on our Sledgehammer turn. Now, we could go knock out the Miltank. That would give us a prize and would give me an opportunity to potentially end the game by knocking out the Tapu Lele GX. However, I don't have a super easy route to do that. So I'm thinking that I would rather hit into the Reshiram Charizard and then try to end the game by just finishing it off. We've got Cynthia's Guzma. My hand is so good at this point, I don't really want to waste too many resources. I will use my switch here, though, so I'm going to Stellar Wish one more time. Just get the hand even bigger. We'll get Escape Rope. And then I'm thinking that we can Sledgehammer for 150. I'm not sure that that math is super relevant. Hitting the Miltank does take away his heal option. I would be pretty devastated if he ends up healing off this Charizard this turn. I think I will just put the Choice Band down, and we're going to swing into this guy. It is going to be tough to deal the final 120 damage here to take this knockout. I can do 110 right now with this Zapdos and the Electropower, but I'm going to need a little bit more in the way of... Actually, yeah, Revenge will do it. So that math works out perfectly here. If my opponent takes out my Buzzwole, then they just get revenged for knockout. And with Dedenne GX coming down, that just gives me another option to clean up some easy prizes there if this Reshiram Charizard does end up getting healed, which would be very bad for me. We would have probably revenge knockout on that Dedenne, which would be great, and then I could just clean up the Miltank for game. Either way, I do like having this dude on the bench. He's nice. Big HP attacker, and something that the Zapdos deck doesn't traditionally get to have access to. So it's pretty neat, and I do definitely have some newfound respect for these different ways to play the Zapdos deck. Though I do kind of prefer the straightforward, consistent Shrine of Punishment variants that just rely on lightning energy, Tapu Koko-GX. I feel like your win cons are just much easier to obtain with that straightforward, consistent deck. I do have to give credit where credit is due. This is a pretty cool list and definitely has some unique options. That heal was not good for us. That takes away our easy win condition there, so we're going to have to figure out another way to do this. I could definitely just target down Miltank or something like that. Double E-Power and the Zapdos doesn't quite get me anywhere. I'm at like 140 right now. So we could just... I still need an energy, though. So let's Stellar Wish and see what we're at. Nothing super useful here, actually. 3 Guzma, like what does that really do for me? Okay, so I need an energy right now. He's hitting for 120 into the Dedenne GX. That doesn't really help. None of this helps. And my Jirachi is now stuck up here. So we'll Ultra Ball away probably the Lillie and the Mew. Let's just go take a look at the deck here real quick and see if there's anything else that I'm missing. There's not, and there's only 2 lightning energy left in the deck, so not actually a lot. Escape Rope, some pretty standard stuff. Let's just get ourselves another Jirachi. And I can Escape Rope up something. I really don't want to do that. Something was knocked out last turn. I could use Machamp and Marshadow GX. If I Escape Rope, they're probably promoting the Lele. I do know that. So I think here we just have to hope to hit a switch off of our Cynthia and just swing into this Reshiram Charizard again. I don't know necessarily what I was looking for. Just definitely a tough call. I don't want to like use these E-Powers. I think I just have to shuffle draw though. is what it feels like, which is like really not what I wanted to do. And now I'm in this super compromising situation where I don't have access to my energy. I don't have anything. And now I'm just getting, I'm back with the escape rope, and I really just want to hit into the Reshiram Charizard. I can't Tapu Koko-GX because my Prism's prized. And now look at us, right? Now we're kind of floundering, which is what I feel like always kind of happens to the Zapdos deck. Fortunately, we get this guy. Now, if I had a Lightning Energy, I would just revenge that dude for knockout. That would be the for sure route. If I hit Jirachi, I mean, really, no, there's no point. So I think here we just, there's no point in sledgehammering for 60 damage. That's for sure. So I'm just going to Stellar Wish and get another item into my hand. I could Escape Rope, bring out something else, thinking that the Thunder Mountain is kind of good. The Escape Rope is kind of good as well, though it's not really going to help. I think the Thunder Mountain is probably my most useful thing right now, though that's just going to allow me to hit with Zapdos. Just really feeling kind of stuck here for sure. We'll grab the Thunder Mountain. And then next turn, we need to try and figure out a way to take some prizes. That's just kind of what it's looking like. We are just stuck here. And I guess if I had found my escape board, that would have been really good. I just wanted to hit into this Charizard again, but I didn't have any of the switch outs. I guess with my hand, I could have just promoted the Buzzwole and just gotten a guaranteed swing for 60 in and then Cynthia. And I'm thinking that probably would have been my best route, but with no energy in my hand, I couldn't revenge. I couldn't guarantee get an attack off with Zapdos. We're just really, really grinding our gears here towards the end of this Charizard matchup, and we can see how with techs like Absol, Miltank, the Zapdos deck can really just be denied its win conditions coming down the line here. Knocking out one Charizard is easy enough, but knocking out two can be pretty problematic, especially when you don't have access to Tapu Koko-GX. Fortunately, he was not able to heal, so I'm going to have to do 210 damage without a Tapu Koko-GX. That feels really bad. However, we know that my opponent cannot knock out this Machamp and Marshadow GX. That is something that fortunately we do have going for us, so that's very good. I'm thinking here we just take this and we just swing and then wait for him to knock it out. If we swing for 60, we could do 150 max. 60 plus 60, 120. That actually would be good math. So I think we just do what we should have done last turn. I'm not going to depend on trying to find a tool with that Jirachi. Let's just go here, another Jirachi, and Lillie for 4. And we just need to find an energy to be able to Guzma and take this knockout with revenge. Well, no, we need a Choice Band there. That's not going to be able to do it. We need a lot more. 140, can't do it with Zapdos. I think I'm just stuck. That hood should not have gone there. If I have a Choice Band left in deck, then we could get it with the Choice Band. I don't think that I actually do have Choice Band left in deck, though, so he was never going to be able to revenge for 150. And now I think I'm just not going to be able to deal this damage. I have 2 E-powers in the bin. That means that the maximum I could do is 2 E-powers. If I find a Kukui, then maybe. But I haven't been attaching lightning this whole time, so we are just ultimately stuck. I could Stellar Wish. We got ourselves another E-power, which is cool. But I don't think that I have any more damage buffs left in the deck, and my opponent now only has 1 prize remaining. So that's just going to be it, I believe. Yeah, I don't think that there's any way we find our way out of here. We've got that. I can't Tapu Koko-GX. We can Rescue Stretcher and put a Pokemon from my discard pile into my hand. Like, sure, we can grab another Jirachi. It just doesn't matter. We are just short no matter what we do. Lillie for 2 feels so bad, and now I just have 4 Guzmas in my hand. Like, well played. That's it. Yeah, so just grinding to a halt here at the end. That was very tough. And Prizing the Tapu Koko Prism Star proved to be absolutely devastating for our entire game plan there. We could have won many different times with the Tapu Koko-GX. We kind of needed him to deal that damage. The one turn that my opponent just healed the Reshiram Charizard was just too bad for us. I think, yeah, we could have swung in with our Sledgehammer that one turn where we missed an attack, but I feel like that's just something that happens with Zapdos fighting decks all the time, is that they just miss an attack, and that's how they end up losing games. It's just one time down the road they end up missing a beat, and then the whole game is over. This is another very good starting hand, so let's see if we can actually make some things happen this game and not just get run off the board by a Miltank and Charizard. That would be great. Though I don't feel so bad losing that one, since that is exactly what we saw happen in top 4. These Zapdos decks just got beat by Charizard decks, which is surprising, but that's the reality of this matchup, is that if you don't, hit some cards right, you don't get the Tapu Koko, GX activated, then you could just be in for a bad time. I'm going to just switch into the Jirachi here and Lillie for 5, saving the Ultra Ball in my hand. I have got Viridian. I can Viridian away probably the Tapu Koko-GX, since I do just have that Rescue Stretcher in my hand. And see, we've got the Tapu Koko Prism Star this time, which is very good. So we'll do that. Get ourselves 2 Lightning Energy. I can Ultra Ball those away, so we'll have no problem getting our Tapu Koko Prism Star activated. Let Loose is good early on in this kind of matchup, so I'm feeling like that's probably what we're going to go for. Let's just Let Loose quick, and then we're Stellar Wish after the Let Loose, and hope my opponent kind of stumbles here along the way. See if we get nice item card. We do have Lillie in our hand, which is good. I can get, wow, just a whole bunch of different options here. Thinking that Cynthia might be good to go grab some other stuff, so we're just going to grab Cynthia. And then hopefully get ourselves a switch card next turn to get this Jirachi up out of the active position, especially since he's staying asleep. My opponent appears to be playing a Reshiram Charizard deck, so we'll see if we can maybe redeem ourselves. This might be Kian's list here, since we do see... No, it's not Kian's list. Kian does not play Jirachi, but we do see Power Plant, which is super interesting because Power Plant does shut down Pokemon EX and GX abilities, so that's pointing to the fact that this Charizard list may not play Pokemon GX or EX with abilities. Might not be playing Dedenne GX, might not be playing Tapu Lele GX either, which would mean that they're probably going to be relying on this baby Volcanion. We can see they've already got their little Volcanion here ready to go, and they'll Stellar Wish, see if they can find a switch, escape rope, something like that, so they can go get a quick Flare Starter here to accelerate 3 fire energy into play. Looks like they do have the escape board, so they're going to get the turn 1 Flare Starter. And the real question is, do they have another Volcanion to put down so that they can Flare Starter onto another Pokemon? Or are they going to go for Charizard? That would be the real question here. I suspect that they'll go with another Volcanion. I wouldn't expect them to just give me a Charizard in play. That would be pretty bold, since I could start to target that thing down and maybe weaken it up a little bit with a turn 2 Zapdos, though I don't actually have everything that I need in my hand to target down something on my opponent's bench. Sure enough, we do see the Charizard, so that thing's going to be coming down and getting 3 energy attached to it with the Flare Starter. Definitely a bold play here on my opponent's part. If they get another Volcanion here, then they could just build a board position with 2 Volcanions each with 2 fire energy on it, and that feels pretty good, since they'll be able to just take 1-hit KOs on everything on my board with Volcanion only. See what we get. We got Buzzwole. Thinking that we're probably not knocking out this Volcanion. This thing is like a real problem for our deck, so I probably want to try and find Guzma first, which we got, thankfully. And we're just going to go in and just swing into that Charizard to soften it up real quick here. That or I could take out the Jirachi. And if my opponent does put, and I guess I have an option. If I take out the Jirachi here, I could blow up that Charizard with the Tapu Koko-GX, which is kind of cool. So I may want to do that. That or I just soften up the Charizard. I think I'll save. Yeah, we'll just go and just hit into this guy. That's probably fine. Start to do this thing as well. And we're just going to Thunderous Assault for 80. Then next turn, if I have to Cynthia, it looks like we're just going to Cynthia for it, hoping to get a Tapu Koko Prism Star and maybe a Tapu Koko-GX and a Lightning Energy. I will put my Thunder Mountain Prism Star into play. Actually, won't need a Lightning Energy, so I just will need the 2-card combo of Tapu Koko Prism Star and Tapu Koko-GX, and then I can do 200 damage with my GX attack to knock this thing out. So that's why I brought it up, because I was like, am I going to hit, a couple damage buffs off my Cynthia? Probably not, but I'll have a decent shot at getting the Tapu Koko-GX pulled off. So we're going to go for that. Opponent's going to Fiery Flint here, get themselves just 1 Fire Energy instead of 4. And it looks like they're going to Lillie first. So not committing the Fire Energy before the Lillie is super interesting. Wondering what they were waiting to see if they got. Maybe we're looking for a Miltank or something like that and wanted to get like double switch Miltank and switch into Miltank, attach the energy, and heal. But with the attachment to the Volcanion here, it looks like they might be switching and taking the knockout with their Volcanion, which would be very good for them because I really want to take out this thing. No interest in really attacking into these Volcanions. But we do get an Outrage, so no switch. It's very good for me. We'll promote the Jirachi and play this Thunder Mountain down and just see what we get off of the Cynthia here. Hoping for the best. This is game time, if there ever was one. We've got the Rescue Stretcher for the Tapu Koko-GX. So sure enough, we have everything we need for this knockout, which is absolutely brilliant. It's very good. We've got the Tapu Koko Prism Star, and having the access to the GX there in the discard pile is awesome with the Rescue Stretcher. So we're going to do that. Get those Lightning Energies into play. And sure, let's go ahead and Stellar Wish while we're out here too. Probably a Guzma would be good, just to target down whatever on my opponent's side. We already have a Guzma in my hand. We're going to go for another E-Power. Just see if that can't get us something good. Sure. We've already got Guzma, already got Escape Board, and then we're going to Rescue Stretcher for the Tapu Koko-GX. No. The Tapu Koko-GX pack. And we've got it, thankfully. Just barely, but we do. Well, I do have the 2 E-Powers in my hand, which is awesome, but we get to Tapu Thunder GX. Actually, could save the Tapu Thunder GX if I just go double E-Power. We could Sky High Claws for knockout, which is kind of insane because, and I just do 190 plus 80. That is a knockout. I think we probably just... am I really going to get 2 Lightning in play again for... Nah, I think we just use the GX attack now that we're here. And then I'm going to save the E-Powers to take down other threats because I might not get an opportunity to GX later. We already used the Tapu Koko Prism Star. So I'm thinking, like, especially if this thing gets responded to right here, which would be pretty devastating. I'm not expecting that it will, but it could. And sure enough, we're just getting let loose. So who knows what we're going to draw into off of this or what my opponents will get. We've got Guzma and Jirachi, so that's a pretty good start. Unfortunately, we do have our GX active right now, and if my opponent does knock it out, they skipped over my Sledgehammer turn, which would be tough. We definitely want that to be activated this game. But we'll see. They'll Stellar Wish. They got Heat Factory. They're drawing more cards that way. And they may have to go in and just hit my Tapu Koko with a Volcanion this turn, which would be pretty tough for them. But I don't have a guaranteed switch in my hand. I don't have an energy either, we can't even guarantee sky-high claws here. But it looks like they are going to bring that Charizard back. And if they have Welder, they could just knock out my Tapu Koko-GX if they go Welder and attach 200 damage, take 2 prizes, and then I am in a very compromised situation. That would be tough for sure. And sure enough, it looks like we're just getting that second scenario again, where we're going to struggle to take out the second Charizard. We keep getting the first Charizard down, but the second Charizard is just going to be a critical pain. We can hit into it, but if they heal it, then we just probably lose. So, also, it's looking like our Zapdos deck might just miss a beat again. And if we get 0-2'd, if we just get 2-0'd by back-to-back Charizard decks here, I would have a hard time recommending this deck, just being honest. But it looks like my opponent's going for Kiawe. Okay, so there is some glimmer of hope here in this. If they had just gone for if they knocked out my attacker there, they'd just win. There's no way that I can come back from that. So they're just going to retreat into Marshadow and go for the Kiawe. With me already having GX'd, that is really tough for me. I guess in hindsight now, given the board position we're currently at, where my Tapu Koko-GX doesn't get knocked out, of course, we would be better off if we had access to Tapu Thunder GX now, but I was kind of anticipating the worst, where my Tapu Koko-GX goes down, and we could see my opponent was very close to having everything they needed to pull that off, but now, you know, they've got, 7 energy in play? Like, of course I would love to Tapu Thunder GX now, but that's just not the reality that we're living in. So, we don't have an energy. I don't have a Let Loose. We have no way to turn that Ultra Ball into a consistency card since the deck doesn't play Zebstrika. So, we're in a situation where I kind of just have to Guzma up the Charizard, and I think we're just going to hit into it with my little Buzzwole. So, we're going to do that here. I think hitting it for 60 feels fine. We can bench this Jirachi as well, and that's just where we're at. Next turn, we can use Jirachi, maybe find ourselves a consistency card or something like that. Not having Zebstrika feels really tough in this list. Just a very minimal amount of consistency options. And then, sure enough, here goes our Tapu Koko-GX. They've got the Guzma. They're just going to be able to Guzma grab another trainer off their Jirachi, and we are stuck having to Jirachi this next turn. All we have to do is take out this Charizard. 210 damage separates us from victory, but that 210 damage is going to be mighty tough to accomplish this next turn. I mean, I do have all my gas left in the tank. I do have Zapdoses. I've got Choice Band. I've got like 4 E-Powers left in the deck, but we've got a really bummy looking hand is the thing. I think we have to Stellar Wish. There's no point. I don't want to Ultra Ball away my Choice Band, so we're going to do that. We've got Kukui is our supporter. That's not really what I want. So we're going to go for Switch and just see if we can maybe switch into Buzzwole and just do it again. I would hate to miss an attack. That would be so bad. So I think that we are just going to switch and hit for 60 again, kind of just slow roll this. That or I go for a supporter with the Jirachi, which could be good. I think I kind of think I need to hit a supporter as well, just because I'm so low on everything right now. So we'll actually try to do that. We're going to try and get a bigger turn. I think, yeah, the thought is if I go for, we're just going to get Lillie. The thought is if I go for just a hit with 60, I'm not confident that I'll be able to respond to anything my opponent does if if they take the knockout that next turn. So we're just going to go for the Zapdos here and Lillie for 6, hoping that I can just poke this thing again. We need switch. I mean, we missed the energy. That's just so horrible. So I do have a hit with my Buzzwole, fortunately, but it's just feeling really, really sketch. Okay, we've got another Jirachi, that's good. We could probably just go get that, thin that out of the deck a little bit. And we're looking at a switch and hit with our Buzzwole again, with kind of minimal resources left in my hand. Got Escape Rope and Electropower, but this dude he's got it all. He's got a big hand. He's got probably switch outs. If he can find a Miltank, this game could just be over real fast, which is exactly what we saw last game, having to be forced into just compromising situations where you're barely doing any damage to these Reshiram Charizards. It's really tough. I also really don't like the fact that we don't have Shrine of Punishment in this deck. I feel like with Shrines, we're at least having options to weaken these big GX Pokemon every single turn and make them a little bit more obtainable for our lowly Zapdoses. But we see they've got Switch Kukui. That is like really bad for me. But it does give me an out. I need to find a Viridian off of... I need to do a lot of damage. I mean, who am I kidding? I need to do a whole lot of damage to that Reshiram Charizard. So they've jammed their bench. I don't really plan on taking knockouts here. I'm just going to try and build my hand up for a big Guzma play for win, which is going to be really tough for me to do, but we're going to go for it and see what we can do. That's Stellar Wish. We've got another... Ooh, the Escape Board is really good. I think I kind of need the Escape Board, and then we're going to pivot into... I actually don't need to. The Escape Board's good. Escape Board just allows me to find more things. That or I take the E-Power and kind of just go from there. But that's going to allow me to... I like that this is going to allow me to just use more Jirachis over the course of the next couple turns. So I'm going to go with that. Let's just Escape Rope, see what my opponent promotes. I could just, if they give me Marshadow here, I could just take that knockout, but I don't. I like, energy is precious right now, and as you can see, we just don't really have it. And my opponent has not GX'd yet. I cannot put down my Machamp and Marshadow. That would just be really tough. We got Stellar Wish again. There's one of these, so we can use that coming down the line here to potentially win the game. We've got a skateboard, and we can retreat into one more. I don't plan on attacking this turn. We are just going to kind of see how we end up with maybe Kukui. So I'm looking at Lillie. Lillie could be good. I think if I bench that, Lillie draws me 2. Kukui also draws me 2. So it doesn't really matter, though. Yeah, it just doesn't really matter. I'm going to need to Guzma for game anyway. So think Cynthia potentially. Just thinning my deck doesn't really make a difference where we're at. Tapu Koko-GX is never going to matter here. We are just out of lightning energy, it appears. So we're just going to Kukui. I still desperately need the Viridian. So I need Viridian and one more damage buff to be able to take out that Reshiram Charizard. As it is right now, I have potentially 2 outs to try and find it. I can Guzma, start with a Jirachi, Stellar Wish, Guzma, put up my Escape Boarded Jirachi, Stellar Wish again. But it needs to be 2 very specific cards. I need Viridian for the lightning, and I need the damage buff. But you guys can see this Zapdos deck is just running out of gas against these Charizards, and I wouldn't have had an opportunity. So even if I had just used double E-Power and knocked out this Reshiram and Charizard with the Sky High Claws instead of using my GX attack early on, I would have never been able to recoup that lightning energy. We see how just low this deck can get on lightning energy in general. I mean, I have 3 in the discard pile, but I think that means I only have 2 left in deck, which is pretty horrible for me. And they are making the very intelligent play of taking out my Escape Boarded Jirachi here, meaning that I no longer have 2 outs to find the cards that I need. So I need to now top deck one of the cards that I need, in order to win the game. Puts me in a well, well. All right. So you're saying there's a chance. We are going to shoot our shot. I get my lightning energy. There is one card in that deck that can win me the game. I have 14 cards in deck right now, and I have one shot to get it. This is painful, guys. This is really tough. All right, come on now. Just give it to me. No. All right, we do have one more shot. Okay, I can escape for it. Escape rope. Let's go. Come on. Come on. All right. We've got 12 cards left in deck. I'm looking at 5. We're pretty close to a 50-50 shot. We have gone so far here. Let's see. I'm doing 140. That's just not enough. It's not enough to that Charizard right now. So I need the final E-Power in my hand. No. Oh, another. Oh, quit playing with me. Okay, we've got one more. Oh, my gosh. We get to do it again. Escape rope one more time. We've got 11 cards left in deck. We're going to get to C5. At this rate, if I lose this game, it's, we shot our shot. What more could we have possibly done? Come on. No. Okay. Well, you know what, guys? That's a wrap, dude. I haven't uploaded a video where I just got just 2-0'd in some time, but I think that this is fair. This is a fair assessment. This is exactly what happened to Zapdos in the top 4 of the Santa Clara Regional Championships, and you can see, dude, if we played Shrine of Punishment, that's game, right? Dude, if we get one tick of Shrine on this guy at any point, that's game. But we missed it. We're 10 damage short, and that's a wrap. So I don't really know about these Fighting Zapdos decks, not going to lie. I don't think that there's too much that I could have done to make these matchups better, but we are just not hitting numbers versus Reshiram and Charizard, and I think that the Shrine versions just do a better job of doing that, and that's just my opinion from playing these decks time and time again. The Shrine really adds up. I also really like 4 Choice Band in these decks as well, like 3 or 4 Choice Band. I really can't get behind 2 Choice Band, 1 Choice Band. I really am not super into that, just as someone who's played a lot of Zapdos myself. That being said, gotta give a big congrats to Michael Catron for his top 4 third place finish here. Some things that I'm not necessarily keen on. Like I said, the 2 Choice Band, only 5 Lightning Energy. It was super hard to keep our hands on those throughout the course of the game. But definitely cool. I'm sure this list absolutely rocks against Pikarom, but the big problem is Charizard. So if I was playing Zapdos going into Madison, I would just scrap all this fighting stuff. I would put Shrines in the deck and just up the consistency of the list overall. Maybe bring the Zebstrika back into the deck like the other Zapdos list that I've been showing off on stream lately. But definitely a unique take on Zapdos and worth trying out if you want to take a look at it for yourself. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where we stream every single weekday. And we are also getting hyped for the Nick Bailey Open this weekend, which I'm going to be live streaming from In the Zone games in Ashtabula. We also got the Full Grip Games League Cup coming up this weekend, so make sure to stay tuned for that on Sunday. Doubleheader League Cup action this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Make sure to give me a follow on Twitch as well. We're only like 50 followers away, something like that, from 4,000 followers, so very close. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, and big shout out to my Blastoise tier Patreon sub, Sarah. Peace.